Will Smith's son was rejected for his skin color, and a street boy took an action that went viral. Stay with this story until the end. If it touches your heart, tap like, subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from. He smelled the city before he saw it. The boy everyone called Rafi, a street kid, barefoot, hungry, invisible, walked through the alley like it was the only place in the world that still remembered his name. The smell of hot metal, spoiled fruit, and dust lived in his clothes. Hunger lived inside his ribs. People didn't look at him. People never looked at street kids, and Rafi had learned to carry that silence like another layer of skin. He pushed his old wheelbarrow, collecting scraps others threw away. A broken toy, a dented bottle, a stale roll of bread. It was survival. It was routine. It was life. Until the moment something broke the pattern. A cry. Not the cry of a cat or a hungry child in the streets. A different cry. High, clear, terrified. Rafi froze. He pressed his hand to his chest. Babies didn't belong in alleys. He searched the shadows until he saw a bundle wrapped in a blanket too clean, too white, too expensive to exist in that place. A tiny hand pushed through the fabric. The baby blinked, looked at Rafi, and reached for him. It was the simplest gesture in the world, and it changed everything. Rafi whispered, "Hey," and the baby laughed. He didn't know yet that this wasn't just any child. This was the son of Will Smith, who had slipped away from a private hotel entrance while a security guard wasn't looking. Rafi, who had never held anything precious in his life, wrapped the baby gently, sat on the ground, and began telling stories. Stories he barely remembered, made of rain and mangoes and warmth he had never really known. He protected the child with the kind of tenderness only those who have been broken young can offer. Meanwhile, across the city, a different story was exploding on every screen. A viral video repeated the same scene. Will Smith's son being rejected by a racist man because of his skin color. The news spread with fire. Hashtags, outrage, commentators yelling into microphones. A wave of indignation swept through timelines. People demanded justice. Others tried to excuse it. But one thing was clear. A child had been humiliated. A child had been hurt. And that child was missing. Security teams were searching everywhere. Drones scanning rooftops. Police contacting hotels. No one thought to search the alleys. No one, except the one person who had found him, a barefoot boy no one saw. Soon, guards reached the alley. Their polished shoes clicked against stone like warnings. "That's the millionaire's boy," one guard said, grabbing the baby without even looking at Rafi. The baby cried. Another guard tried to push Rafi aside. "What were you doing with him? You know the trouble kids like you cause." Rafi stared at the ground. Humiliation was a language he knew well. But then, the baby reached for him again. That small gesture, that little hand, awakened something fierce in Rafi. He stepped forward and shielded the child. "He was alone," Rafi said. "He was crying." The guards laughed. "Move aside, this isn't your business." But then a car approached. A black SUV, quiet and heavy, like it carried a storm. The door opened, and out stepped Will Smith. His face was carved with fear, anger, guilt, all mixed into something raw and fatherly. "Where is my son?" he demanded. The guard stepped aside. Will Smith saw the baby clinging to Rafi, and then he saw the dirt on Rafi's clothes, the cuts on his feet, the way the baby held the boy as if he were the only safe place in the world. Will froze. Something in him softened. He crouched and whispered, "You found him?" Rafi nodded. He laughed with me, the boy said quietly. Will swallowed hard. He tried to take the baby, but the child turned away and curled deeper into Rafi's chest. For a moment, Will felt something he had never felt in public: humility. He looked at Rafi with a gratitude too big for words. "Thank you," he whispered. He reached for his wallet instinctively, ready to give money, reward, anything. But Rafi stepped back. "No," he said, "I don't want money." Will blinked. No one refused money like this. "What do you want?" he asked. Rafi hesitated. His voice trembled. "I just want him safe." It was the answer of someone que nunca recibió nada. Alguém que não queria recompensa, queria dignidade. Cameras were already recording. People in the street, influencers, security footage. The moment Will Smith reached out his hand and Rafi took it, it went everywhere. A street boy protecting a millionaire's son. A child discriminated for his skin color finding comfort in another child society ignored. Two worlds touching. One human moment destroying 1,000 prejudices. Within hours, the internet had crowned Rafi a hero. Journalists picked up the story. Millions of comments poured in. How can a child of the streets show more humanity than adults? This boy deserves a life change. Will needs to help him. Will Smith did more than help. He looked Rafi in the eyes and said, "Come with us. Let me give you a future." Not as charity, not as pity, but as gratitude. Rafi accepted, slowly, cautiously, like someone afraid the world might vanish if he blinked. That night, the video of the moment went viral. Will Smith's son was rejected for his skin color, and a street boy took an action that went viral. A simple act of courage, a simple act of love, a simple act that the world needed to see. And for the first time in his life, Rafi slept in a room with a bed, a blanket, and a future that didn't disappear at dawn. Sometimes heroes don't wear capes. Eles andam descalços. Eles vivem invisíveis. Eles carregam o coração no bolso vazio. E quando o mundo finalmente os enxerga, tudo muda.